Hey guys, it's Heather from Tomatoes, Puppies, and Everything Gardening. I wanted to welcome you to week 5 of my seedling progress update. Unfortunately, things could be better. Remember last week and week 4, you saw that I had a major issue. I accidentally, because I used a new product, over fertilized, and still kind of coming out of the consequences of that bad choice. I diluted the solution at 50%. It should have been fine. It wasn't. So, not every plant died. I did lose about 10 to 12 last week when I did the video. I think I've lost another 3 to 5 maybe this past week, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Peppers are puny. I will not be able to put them in my pepper cell, a plant cell. That's going to happen in it should be happening now, but probably realistically 2 weeks. I'll be getting rid of all my plants except for mine. I'll probably either discount them at $1 a piece, or maybe $2, or maybe like you buy 3 plants, you get a free pepper. I don't know. I've got a few more than what I really need, and probably can give away to family and friends, so that's probably what I'm going to do. I watched the video from week 4 and week 5 from last spring when I was doing YouTube, and there's a major difference. Like, my tomatoes were so much bigger last year, and I'm going to go back to what I did last year. I did one thing differently this year. I did 100% seed starting soil. I normally do half and half to start, half potting mix, half seed starting mix, and you can tell a big difference. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to use just plain seed starting mix. So let's get out here.
You saw by the intro to my video that this is a big thing for week 5, is to get my little greenhouse ready for these guys. Normally they're much bigger and they're ready to start getting used to nighttime temperatures. Our estimated last frost date was like yesterday. Of course it can still get down low temperatures, it could freeze, but for the most part, we're heading into planting time. And according to my state extension, it's pretty much time to go. Good to go. And if you go to one of the box stores around here, they've had tomato plants out since early March. Here's a picture of one I actually took on March the 11th because it was so shocking. Let's just take a look at my peppers here. You can see they're puny, little runts. I went ahead and just gave them a quick look over a few minutes ago. So these are my shishitos. I've got some Reuben basil in the back. Then I've got over here, these are the Jimmy Nardello. I'm down to just, let's see, about 9 or 10. They're still puny. I planted these a little bit later on the 7th. These are Podopinos, and there's about 5, but I saw one was a late germinator. You can see it's got a seed head stuck on there. So I put a little of my saliva on there a few minutes ago to help soften that, get it off. I do have 4 of Nadia eggplant and 4 of Bianca eggplant, so I'll be keeping all 8 of those for just me. 1 puny little sweet banana pepper for me. And then I have Sweet Sunset. It's a new pepper I'm trying this year. I planted it later, I think on the, I can't read that. Probably like the 5th or 7th of March, and surprisingly they're doing the best. They look the best. These are, what are these? Oh, okay. These 4 poblanos are part of my poblano experiment for the summer, and then these are the other part of the experiment. These are the ones from Walmart. I will say the botanical interest germinated the fastest, but these guys did germinate probably 3 to 6 days after that, and they're doing okay. These are slightly bigger. And I've got 2 Carolina peppers here in the back and 2 licorice basils. I think that's it. That's it for our eggplants and peppers. This is what we're down to, and this is how they look. I think they will come around and grow fine, and I will get lots of harvest. They just had a rough germination to begin with, and the over-fertilization didn't help either. This is a shishito that I was tempted to just toss because he's so pale, but I might keep him. It's kind of a slow little runt. Here are the paste tomatoes I'm going to plant at my friend Ivy's house. And you can see they are very small, but they're coming around. They're kind of bouncing back after last week's fiasco, and I think they'll be okay. There are 12, and I'm not super happy with these trays that I ordered. I thought I was going to love them, but it's keeping the soil way too moist. Probably can't tell by the video, but it's actually really dark. It's really damp. It'd probably be better for like sowing things outdoors, and I keep in my little greenhouse. Not going to use these again for seed starting next year. And here's an overview of the rest of the plants, and you can still see some of them are still crispy on the leaves from that over fertilization, and there are still some that did pass away this week that I need to pull. I think that might be one. I have to look at it a little closer. But overall, they are rebounding. You can see some just kind of like dry off those, and then they fall off. Let me get them out of the tray so we can have a closer look. And then also with these trays, the Cilia, is it Cilia? Cilia. Yeah, seedling trays. They keep the soil way too moist. I don't care for these either. These are just going to be used outdoors after I get these guys potted up, which would have already started, but because they're so small, I really can't start potting up yet. Things are really delayed this year, and there's not much I can do about it except just get them well and give them good care, and see how we do from there. Okay, so let's take a look at all the guys that were in that tray. So I've got pineapple. All of those are recovering, and I think they will be fine. The moon glow, those guys are also recovering and will be fine. Don't have to worry about them. Now this is a perfect example of one that is ready to be potted up into a little bit bigger cup. You can see it's got roots coming out the bottom, and he's got a nice tall strong stem. So if I was to pot him up today, I would bury him to about right here, into like a red solo cup. I'm actually thinking I may go ahead, this will be the first tray to get potted up, and I may actually start that tonight or tomorrow, because this soil is just too damp. You really need your tomatoes to dry out. I cannot get them to dry out in these containers. And then the Super Sweet 100, I did lose a few. So let's see, this one is gone. This one, I don't think he's gonna make it. Maybe. Let's see, that one's gone. And, well, just two, but they look rough. I mean, would you buy a tomato plant that look like this? Now, in 2 weeks, they could look totally different, but they are having a rough go of it. So there's a carpenter ant who does not want me out there right now, and Tonto keeps trying to eat him. And there's also a honeybee out there trying to get me. They love the pollen. And the wasps. There's lots of wasps out today. I don't know if you can see that yellow haze, that yellow film. That is pollen. And it's really bad right now. I had to start taking my nasal cord. May have to take some kind of like Allegra too. Broken water hose here at the ready. And trying to get done. So here are the black creme. And I think all of them, no new losses for the week. No new losses for Whitmore. You can still see that it has some yellow damage on its leaves. And the new growth, though, it's green, and I think it'll be fine. All of those should recover. And look at all of these beautiful blush, artisan blush. They look really nice. I don't see very much of the yellowing left, just a teeny weeny bit. It's starting to look nice and green. So I'm going to get this tray back inside, and then we will keep doing an assessment. The Mountain Princess looks like it's bounced back really nicely. Just a touch of the yellowing, but it's almost gone. These look great. They'll be fine. The Granny Cantrell was one that got hit really hard from the over fertilization, and you can see where it's trying to put on new growth. And I think all of these, surprisingly, are going to be okay. I don't see any new seedling death, and they all are looking like they're bouncing back, so this is great. So let's move a few of these over and see who these are down here. What is this? Okay, so this was the experiment. This was the one that I remember I showed you the root and it had like a burn mark on it, and I pushed the soil back around it. It's still alive. I can tug on it a little. It does move though, a little. Nope. I would say that it's not going to make it. So we can get rid of this one. So we do have another fatality. And then what are these guys? Legend. These are dwarfs. Started these just slightly late, maybe like 5 to 7 days after the others. And there was only 4 of those. Oh, and then I had new big dwarf. Those look really nice. Those do not look to have struggled too much. So that's good. Those look nice. So I got 5 of those. I think they would be perfectly fine. And all of these are the granny cantrell. And I do think the rest of these will come out of it. Sweet basil, very puny. My video from last year at this time, my basil was 5 times this size. I had already pruned it once. So I may have to restart. I don't know. We'll see. Geranium Kiss, had a rough go of it last week, but you can see it's bouncing back. And also the Indigo Rose looked really rough last week. It's not looking half bad this week. And then I've got Tiny Tim, which are so cute. And then a few of the smaller artisan blushes that were kind of like late germinators. So these are coming along. They just need a little TLC. So happy to report Big Daddy and Queen of the Night have made an astonishing recovery from last week. I don't see any new seedlings that have died, and they are starting to look nice and pretty and green again. So this is good news, very good news. So I just had a boo-boo that I'm immediately going to have to fix. I had started these as a request late, probably like 7 to 8 days ago. This is Berry Crazy something and Atomic Grape. And I know this looks scary. Ivy, if you're watching this, don't worry. I'm going to up pot them as soon as I finish this video, and they'll be perfectly healthy and fine. Last tray here, except for 2 little containers of flowers. This is the Blue Spice Basil. It's looking much better. I do see one guy that has probably, yeah, he's gone. Who is that? Okay, I know who these are. This is that fir, no. Okay, so 2 more. That's not bad. We can manage that. Okay, let me check them over real good. Let me check them. Okay, well, we lost 2 more. So we lost, so what, 4 extra for the week? And then we got, what, 10, 12 last week? It's not too bad. We're just set back a little bit. Just a little bit of time to bounce back and recover. So what did I do to help out my poor seedlings this week? I flushed them with rainwater, trying to get that fertilizer out of the soil. And then I didn't water them much. I think once after that. Bottom water only. I've had the fan going on them multiple times this week for hours when they're indoors. I've had them outdoors as much as possible when weather permitted. And I think that's about it. No fertilization this week at all. I did place an order. It should arrive tonight for my usual fertilizer that I've used since 2021. Here's a picture of it. I will go back to that for my indoor seedlings. The other stuff I will just use outdoors for my container garden. Plants, stuff like that. I'm not going to use it on my seedlings anymore. And that's about it. So right now, what we need to do, I'll rewatch this video and edit it, and I'll do a head count. So that's what we should be doing right now at week 5. How many plants do I have? So we know what we're going to do with them, where we're going to plant them, who we're going to give them to, who we're going to sell them to, what do we have available.
what do we need? Maybe we can trade with some people. That's what I'm thinking too. I've got a couple plant sales, plant swaps coming up. So for me, in my zone, my growing zone, which is like 7B, I think on the border of 8, I'm getting really close to getting these guys out. But because they're so tiny and they haven't had that next step of up potting, I'm not comfortable to do that. Usually for me, I like to plant end of April. I did actually plant out a sucker from my indoor tomato plant experiment last year on April 1st. It did phenomenal. I couldn't believe the tomatoes I got off of it, and so soon, so early in the season. I may experiment. I've got several little guys, maybe with like one of these bigger dudes. Maybe I could just try putting one out and see what happens if I'm willing to sacrifice it. So that needs to happen this week, getting the head count down. And for me, I was trying to say for my zone, I need to get these guys acclimated to nighttime temperatures. So we're good all week. We're in the mid to upper 50s. Now this weekend, there's a chance it might get cooler, upper 40s. So I have to keep an eye on that. But I want to get them used to being outside at night, less dependent on the lights, more used to daytime light. Right now in my backyard, it's full sun, but as the trees fill in with leaves, it's going to become part sun. So I really need to get these guys hardened off and ready for their new homes. I feel like I've got a big batch of puppies, and it's like at that point where, they're almost getting too late in the season to get rid of them. People don't want a puppy when it's 10, 14 weeks old. They want the cute little newborn puppy. But it's a little opposite with your plants because they want them to be established. They want them to look plantable. You can't hand someone a little dude like this and say, hey, go plant this in your garden, because he's really tiny. So lesson learned. Like I said last video, every year is different. You're learning something new. You gotta just put it all together over the years, and some things that work one year are not going to work one year the next year. And one year I had to top my peppers because they were 2 feet tall. That's not the problem this year. So it's always an adventure. But I'm glad you're here with me for this adventure. I hope you're relieved as I am that I did not lose all of my plants. And I will see you next week for week 6. And hopefully I'll have some updates on how these guys did outdoors. Talk to you soon. Bye.